So the last story today that we're going to get into is a good fun political one. Political one. And it's kind of like a duh thing. We covered this before. But just to kind of go over it a little bit more in a slightly different way, let's talk about the Merchant of Death. You guys remember him? Yeah. So another New York Post, gullible Biden gave Putin back the Merchant of Death. Guess what? He's back doing the devil's work. I mean, who'd have thunk it? It's just like all these criminals that are being released because, why not? Then they go out and murder people again. It's almost like it's in their blood and they haven't been, what do they say? They want resource officers and they want therapy and stuff because they want to like revitalize these people, or not revitalize, but some other word, and try to help them out, get them on the right path. But they're not doing it already. And they're letting them go. They're getting out and killing people and stuff. So they're dumb, basically. And by them, I mean pretty much the Democrat leadership. They're like, hey, did you kill that guy? Yeah. All right, it's been 3 hours. You go ahead and go. But don't do it again. Hey, don't cross our border. You'll get a free stay at a 4-star hotel in New York if you do. Don't do it. Free credit cards with money on it. Free room and board. We'll even fly you to places. I mean, yeah, but don't look at me. Look at me. Don't. Anyways, it blows my mind people are still wanting to vote for them. Again, if you're here and you're wanting to vote for these Democrats, I still love you, even if I don't understand you. And I definitely don't understand you. But back to this story. Gullible Biden gave Putin back the Merchant of Death. And that really is a mouthful right there and a lot to think about. Because that right there. Think about who he's kind of connected to that may be an issue coming up here very, very shortly. Anyways, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's go ahead and read him. There he is. Not a great guy. Kind of a bad dude. It says, so I like how they just start that like that. The Merchant of Death is back to selling arms to the world's worst, and just 2 years after getting sprung from a U.S. prison in the Biden-Harris deal with Vladimir Putin to get WNBA star Brittany Griner. She got a deeper voice than I do. Brittany Griner released from a Russian internment camp. So much for the deal makers' promises that Victor Bout wouldn't go back to his deadly work. It's pretty clear that his independent cells largely serve Putin's agenda, with just enough deniability, which is why Vlad traded to get him back. And now the Wall Street Journal reports that he's just closed a $10 million deal to provide automatic weapons, including AK-47 rifles, to the Houthis, and with a potential sale of anti-tank and anti-aircraft missiles next up. And we just gave this dude back. Put him back out there to do this. Because some WNBA chick dude thing went to Russia with weed. It was, whatever it was. You don't fact check me on that. But it was a substance she wasn't allowed to have. We traded her, him, she, it, them, Papa, for the Merchant of Death.
Some people are dumb. Yeah, really.
I know I covered this before. This is not my first time covering it, reacting to the stupidity of this, but it's just that stupid. It catches me every time it comes out of my mouth. The Merchant of Death for a stupid WNBA player who did something stupid. One would say it was not a good deal. And by one, I mean most everyone. All right, this, as the Yemen-based terror group has largely closed the Red Sea to commercial shipping by shooting at vessels there, with a clear exception for Chinese-flagged ones. and as they attack Israel and U.S. forces in the region too. Devil's work that Bout's work plainly enables. We slammed the Bout deal when Biden and Harris closed it, not because it was wrong to work for Griner's release after her kangaroo court conviction, but because the White House should have gotten more than a single American back if was going to release an was going to release an international war criminal who at one point was the world's second most wanted after Osama bin Laden. Isn't that nuts? God, just hearing it again. I mean, we still have prisoners over there. Like, I think military or like journalists or something like that they said were spies but weren't, and they're holding them. But we got WNBA player back. Woo woo. Letting Putin so readily win so big in these deals is a huge incentive for him to keep taking de facto hostages, always on trumped up criminal charges. Washington can't sit by passively waiting for Vlad to demand the release of more monsters in exchange for his innocent captives. A good start would be finding and freezing the Western accounts where the Russian tyrant has stashed some of his ill-gotten billions. And I guess that's it. So what does this comment say? So let's see if we have this right. Due to Griner, an American that would not stand for the national anthem, facts, and getting caught with dope in Russia and getting locked up, and we swap this arms dealer from our lockup for her. Now he goes and does a deal to sell arms to the Houthis, who have been firing missiles at our U.S. Navy. Thus, we fire our missiles in return to shoot them down at over $1 million a pop. Somehow, I am missing the logic in this deal. Yeah, man, me too. God, what were they thinking? I mean, you got the terrible Afghanistan withdrawal. You got the economy, right? You got this. I mean, what a terrible deal. Surely his vice president, who's now running for president, one would assume she would want to disavow this decision, separate herself from this, and deny this as a good move. I'm sure she's been very vocal about separating herself from some of his decisions.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Well, there you go. Not only is there nothing that she would change or do different, she was also part of the decision-making process. I wonder how involved she was in this one. Guys, that's who's running for president. And she's trying to convince you that the economy is better, that the border crossings have dropped, that they brought down they brought in and created significantly more manufacturing jobs and lower unemployment than they actually have. When you actually look at the numbers, and I will give a shout out to Don't Walk Run Productions, who does a fantastic job of breaking down the numbers and giving us the real numbers. Can't sing his praises enough. Amazing channel. I've suggested him so many times. Go check him out. But yeah, this just how can people vote for this woman? How can people vote for this woman? She's worked so hard to separate herself from Biden, but then clings to him at certain times, and then he speaks and reconnects the two up. I mean, it's just, who's running this campaign? The thing that is, the whole thing aggravates me, but then my mind is still blown because there are people walking around with Harris Waltz shirts on, Harris Waltz signs in their front yard, going on social media and blasting Trump supporters for being in a cult. But this is what they're voting for. Help me understand. I don't get it.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.